Pareto's law says that 80% of the work is going to happen in 20% of the time. In my experience, that 20% of the time always gets pushed up against that deadline. For sure. Is that as that deadline approaches, we can draw some conclusions here. If we just say time on this axis, time, and if we say motivation, far away from that time, we don't have that much motivation to work on our project. As we get closer to that time, it actually approaches kind of exponentially. So we're out here, we got some motivation to start our project. We come down here, we get to our deadline, and as we get closer and closer, our motivation skyrockets. And that's kind of accounts for why this Pareto law happens. But the other thing that I noticed, and this is really, really important for everyone to understand here, is that if we draw another scale here, and we call this skill level, I mean your apparent skill level. So when you have a lot of time left to learn something, you have a high apparent skill level in that area because you still have time to figure it out. When we got all kinds of time, we've got all kinds of apparent skill level. And here's what I've noticed about apparent skill level. As we get closer and closer to that deadline, our apparent skill level falls off, and in fact, if we get too close to the deadline, our actual skill level declines because we make bad judgments and things. At this point right here, that point where our apparent skill level has fallen below our motivation, that's what I like to say, the motivation has become desperation. And a lot of things happen at this point. At this point, we start making stupid decisions. We decide to stay up all night working on the project that requires us to have good mental focus when we're working on it. At this point, people get hurt. At this point, people get dead. This is a bad place to be. And you know, it is not required that your skill level fall off like that if you're able to make good judgments, if you're able to think it through. You can keep a skill level that goes up here, it goes up here, and bang, we hit our deadline, and we knew how to do the project. You can do that, but you've got to think it through. You've got to not stay up all night working on it and still think you're going to be full of energy the next day. You've got to, every time you work on something, you've got to leave time to clean up, put stuff away. You've got to make those good judgments. When you get to the edge of your knowledge, you've got to stop and ask for help. You can't just say, I think I can figure it out at 2 o'clock in the morning when there's nobody there to help you. At this point, we start making stupid decisions. At this point, people get hurt. At this point, people get dead. This is a bad place.
So do me a favor as these deadlines approach. Don't stay up all night working on it. Don't make stupid decisions. Think about what you're doing, and certainly when you get to the edge of your knowledge, ask somebody for help. Don't just try to figure it out.